A 24-year-old man was on a train with his father. He looked out through the train window and shouted, "Father, look at the trees running." His father smiled, but a young couple sitting nearby looked at the 24-year-old's childish behavior with pity. Suddenly the man shouted back, "Dad, the cloud looks like it's running after us." The couple couldn't help feeling irritated and said to the boy's parents, "Why don't you take your child to a psychiatrist?" The old man smiled and said, "I've taken him to the doctor, and we just got home from the hospital. My son has been blind since birth, he just got an eye donor and can only see today." Everyone in this world has a story of its own. Don't judge others before you really know them, because the reality that happened may surprise you.
A man's favorite donkey fell into a deep hole. He couldn't pull the donkey out no matter how hard he tried. Therefore, he decided to bury his donkey alive. Soil began to be filled into the hole where the donkey was from above. The donkey, feeling that it was being hit by the ground, shook its body to drop the soil on top of its body, and stepped on the ground. Subsequent soil backfilled into the hole. The donkey shook his body back and climbed on the ground. The more land is hoarded, the higher the land rises. By noon, the donkey was able to get out of the hole and graze on green pastures. After a lot of wagging problems, and stepping, learning from the story above, one day after being released from problems, you will be able to graze on green meadows. You will be able to achieve what you dream of.
Once upon a time, there was a daughter who complained to her father that her life was miserable and that she didn't know how she was going to make it. He was tired of fighting and struggling all the time. It seemed that only one of his problems could be solved, then another problem soon followed to be solved. His father, who is also a chef, took him to the kitchen. He filled 3 pots with water and put them over a high heat. After the 3 pots began to boil, he placed some potatoes in one pot, some eggs in the second pot, and some coffee beans in the third pot. Then he sat down and left the 3 pots on the stove to boil, without saying a word to his daughter. His daughter groaned and waited impatiently, wondering what her father had done. After 20 minutes, he turned off the stove. He took the potatoes from the pot and placed them into the bowl. He picked up the egg and placed it in the bowl. Then he scooped the coffee and put it into the cup. Then he turned to look at his daughter and asked, "Son, what do you see?" "Potatoes, eggs and coffee," her daughter hurriedly answered. "Take a closer look and touch this potato," said the father. The daughter did as her father asked her and made a mental note that the potatoes were soft. Then the father asked him to take an egg and break it. After removing the shell, he found a boiled egg. Finally, his father asked him to taste the coffee. The rich aroma of coffee makes her smile. "Father, what does all this mean?" he asked. Then the father explained that potatoes, eggs and coffee beans had each faced the same predicament, namely boiling water. However, each showed a different reaction. The potatoes were tough and tough, but when put in boiling water, the ketang becomes soft and weak. The eggs are brittle, with a thin outer shell protecting the liquid inside of the egg until it is placed in the boiling water, until finally the inside of the egg becomes hard. However, ground coffee beans are the most unique. Once the coffee beans are exposed to boiling water, they change the water and create something new. "Which one do you belong to, son?" asked the father to his daughter. "When adversity comes to you, how do you deal with it? Are you a potato, an egg or a coffee bean?" In this life, many things happen around us. Many things happen to us. But the only thing that really matters is what's going on inside of us.